Hello beautiful people, welcome back to another video. I am Tanish Fortson, your favorite virtual embroidery coach. So let's get into this project. I don't know if you guys know, but I went viral back in 2023 for making keepsake items. And that's how I got the majority of my following on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I made keepsakes using baby onesies. So one of the requests that I would get all the time was to also make memory sweatshirts. Actually got all kind of requests like memory bears, memory blankets, but I did make some memory/honor shirts, and that's what we are doing this evening. So before I show you the items that the customer sent in, I just want to let you guys know that I will be using this Lane 7 sweatshirt, and the color is a charcoal gray. But the person is actually a lady. She sent in her husband's late father's ties. So I have never did what I'm going to do on ties before. So I want to kind of show you guys my process and how I will be tackling this. This is new for me. These ties are extremely thick, so we are going to cut them open. I think she sent me 5, but just let me show you guys the 3 that I will be using. The text on the sweatshirt will say dad, and we are going to put his EST year along with some angel wings on the sleeve. So these are the 3 patterns that I will be using for the tie. And I'm keeping it in a darker tone that kind of complements the sweatshirt. So the thread choice will be a lighter color because we need some sort of contrast against the dark colors. All right, so let's get this sweatshirt hooped and on the machine, and then I'm gonna come back over and show you guys how I am going to cut these open and apply heat and bond light to these. Okay, so I am at my hooping station. I am using the 8x13 Mighty Hoop, and I am using my hoop master. So I will be using a piece of 3-ounce, this is cutaway stabilizer. It's not the typical soft kind that I use. I just already have this piece cut, so there's no particular reason why I'm not using my favorite. It's just I already had this one available. It's a tad bit short, but we are going to make it work. All right, let's get my sweatshirt on here. After this is hooped, we are going to head to the software and then over to my machine. And you guys, we are right in the middle of busy season, so I'm not even going to act like my studio is clean. It's a mess in here, but I'm not going to be able to clean it until the weekend. So please bear with me. I know that a lot of you have been asking for a studio tour, but my studio is out of sorts right now. So I will have that coming up, but it will be after a deep cleaning and after I organize some of the drawers. Okay. I like to look at how much space is left on the left and the right side, and we are good. We are right in the center. So I'm gonna put this on the machine and we are going to head to the software. All right, so I have a lot of designs open, but we're just going to ignore those. Those will be featured in another video, but we are going to make the dad text really quickly. So I'm gonna click on the digitizing portion of Embrilliance. I am gonna go right here to True Type Art and click on it. And I'm not sure what font I want yet. I'm gonna try the usual, which is the college block. What is it, college slab? Here it is right here. So D. I'm not sure if I want to use this because remember this is applique. So I want the letters thick, but they need to fit a tie. So when I open the tie up, it needs to fit. I don't know, I don't like this A. It's like really blockish, like block-like. So I'm gonna see if I can modify this. I'm gonna choose these 2 nodes. Let's undo that. I actually need to choose more than 2 nodes. I need to choose 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just have chosen the 4 nodes, and we are going to kind of bring that block part down a little bit, and I need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Select all 4 nodes, and then you're going to go down 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I was just using the down arrow key. Okay, I think I like that better, but I won't be able to tell until I see the satin stitches. So I'm going to paste, and I'm going to do one more paste. I am going to select all 3 designs, and I am going to combine the designs, because right now it's reading as like 3 separate designs when it's just one design. I am going to select the first 3, and remember, this is applique. We are just setting up our own applique. So we need 3 colors to signify the 3 steps that are in applique: placement, tack down, and your final covering stitch. So I don't care the colors, I'm just going to select whatever colors. Remember that the colors are controlled by your machine, but we are adding different colors to make our machine stop. All right, so now I have my 3 steps in my applique design, which is placement, tack down, and my final covering stitch. My first set of stitches, I'm going to select all 3, and this is going to be our placement stitch. So we need a single run. 2.5 millimeters is fine. I really don't care if my ends are tied or not for a placement stitch. Now I'm going to select the second 3, and I'm going to come up here to a single run, and I'm going to tie my end. This is personal preference. I like to do a double run around my tack down stitches, just because when you start cutting, if you cut the stitch, they will lift. You have a least likely chance of your stitches lifting if you have a double run. So I've literally been cutting for applique, and I pull on my applique to get a very close cut, and my stitches have come undone, and I hate that. So I'm just going to change that to a 3 millimeter run, and my final covering stitch, which is going to be satin. It could be like a zigzag or whatever, but Hello, this is Future Editing Tanish, and I just want to apologize for the audio. I have found a new system to record my screen recordings when I'm in the software. So unfortunately, the audio is really off, but I'm basically showing you guys how to do the satin stitch right here. So I want a very thick satin stitch. I'm going to do a 4.5 millimeter, and the density, you could do 4.0. I typically like thicker densities. I'm going to do a 3.8 with this particular design, and I'm going to tie at the entry and the exit. So the double run stitch, which is the tack down, it needs to be tied at the entry and exit, and then the placement 6 stitches, I really don't care too much. All right, that is all, my friends. I am going to add my secondary text, and since this is a memorial shirt, I am going to add some angel wings. Okay, so I have the ties in my hand, and I picked 2 thread colors to show you guys, and I will let you know how I am going to come to the decision. So I kind of grabbed the 2 colors, or I like to place them against the color palette just to get an idea of how it will look. So I'm gonna set the first tie right here. It has blues, beiges, reds, and it has dark colors. So this is the second tie, and this is this isn't a white, it's sort of an off-white. So the color is 1804 and the gray color is 1810. This is how these 2 colors look against the blue. And for this last one, this is how the 2 colors looks against this one. So for me, the next thing I'll do in my process is place the 2 colors against the sweatshirt. So just from looking at it, I am liking the contrast that the white the off-white is giving a little more. The gray with the dark colored ties, even though it's a lighter gray, the thread is going to kind of mute it a little bit, and that's not the look that I'm going for. So I'm going to choose the off-white. I have already oiled my machine because I was working earlier today. We can actually start and do the placement stitches. I'm going to turn on my heat press and I'm going to prep the ties. But first, let's pull up the design, and I actually need to put the thread color on. I don't know where nothing is at because I work the entire day, and when I work, my studio becomes a disaster and I don't know where nothing is at. So I'm just going to take off this cone number 15 and I'm going to put the white on, and I need to make sure my presser foot is where it needs to be because I was stitching a variety of garments. The thickness of this sweatshirt, it is pretty thick, and plus I have a 3 ounce piece of tearaway, so I'm going to do 4 clicks. So I'm going to roll it all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to go up 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we have the correct setting for the garment that we are working with, and I just threaded the needle. The heat press is warming. These were the other 2 ties that I did not use, so we're just going to sit that right there, and we're going to send that back to the customer. I am going to cut some heat and bond light. Now we don't need this much. This is more of what we will need. I need some scissors, and let me grab the ties. I wonder, would this be something that we can add to the embroidery? Because when I did them for children, I would add like elements from the onesies. So what I'm doing is just cutting this open. So I'm just actually going to cut off a chunk and then open them up and then put the heat and bond on there. So let me do the placement stitches so that I can get an idea of how much fabric I need. Okay, let's go. I just remembered something. When I'm cutting applique, I don't like to use this hoop. I like to use my 11 by 13 hoop, just because I can cut and navigate better with a larger space when I'm working inside the hoop. So I don't know that it's worth cutting these stitches out and rehooping. Oh my God, it's just that the scissors, my scissors in particular, sticks so bad, and it's just really hard to navigate when you have a large design inside the 8 by 13. So not cutting a keepsake item for me is more important. So I'm just gonna take these few little stitches out, and I'm gonna rehoop with a bigger surface area. So I'm going to trim and rehoop real quick. Okay, I am back. I need to reset the design and change the hoop size. So I'm just doing that really, really quickly. It took me like 2 minutes to switch everything around. And to me, that's worth the peace of mind, because it really sucks when you accidentally cut the person's special garment during the embroidery process, especially when it's a keepsake item. And ask me how I know, because I've did it, and then I had to order, for this particular client, I had to order some more, like the same garment, and luckily they had gotten that garment off of Amazon. So just never want to be in that position again, like ever. Trace. And I have some thick stitches, so this is going to take like 35 or 40 minutes to embroider. All right, so let's start again. I'm stitching at about 1,200 stitches per minute. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, it was a good thing on the placement stitch that I don't tie the ends, so that worked in my favor this time. Oh my God, if you guys could see the boxes and the inventory over here in the bag, yeah, no judgment, please. But now that we have the placement stitch, I can measure how much of the tie I will be needing. So I have already opened it up. I'm just gonna leave this right here for now. You wanna go big part, not over here where the triangle is. You wanna go big part to big part. So I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna give myself a little extra space. All right, and then I'm going to measure all of the other garments from this piece. I'm actually going to also cut out this lining. I might need a little bit more heat and bond than I planned on. So I'm gonna give myself enough space for placement. That's why it's bigger than it should be. All right, I'm gonna heat press this really quickly. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And now I'm going to measure up the other two ties and place some heat and bond light on those as well. Okay, prepping this fabric took way longer than I expected, but we have our 3 pieces of the tie. The less pattern piece I'm gonna put in the middle, and then the 2 heavily patterned pieces are gonna be on the edges. I did forget to digitize this for different applique. You know, when you digitize for applique, you digitize it as either the same fabric or a different fabric. I digitize it as the same fabric, so I will need to stop the machine after the placement stitch is done so that I could place the next piece of fabric down. So the only thing that I don't like about that, because I don't mind, I'm gonna be standing over this anyways, is that the machine won't push out. You guys see how wrong you see? Oh my God, this would have embroidered closed. I need to open the sweatshirt, because remember, my machine did not push out for an applique stop. And I'm not going back into the software. Okay, so the first one is this pattern piece right here. All right, let's peel this off. I'm really excited to see how this will turn out. All right, I just reset it and skipped the first piece, which was a tack down stitch. Now we're back to the applique. I don't know what happened, but let's go. Oh, stop it, stop. All right. I might need to put some 505 spray on this, because this lifted not lifted, but it shifted a tad bit. So this tie is like extra thin, and like even the heat and bond light changed colors. So I don't really care that it did that, but it'll be okay. All right, and now one more piece. I would like to get some red in the mix as much as I can, just because the first letter has some red in it. I'm just trying to tie all of the colors together. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. The fabric moved. All right, you guys see? Yeah, that's a no. Okay, I put a little bit of 505 spray under here to stop the movement of the fabric. I'm not gonna go back any stitches because this is a double run stitch, so the machine's gonna go back over it anyway. So I'm just gonna continue where the machine left off. All right, so now it's time to cut. I am actually going to take this off of the machine so that I can focus on cutting properly. Straighten this out. So now we go into focus mode. Oh, this is cutting pretty easy. I don't need a super close cut because the satin stitch is pretty thick. My scissors are just gliding across this fabric and I love that for me. The baby onesies, they don't cut as easy. See that glide? I love it. I'm gonna use a seam ripper. The hardest part will be breaking into these holes. And I just like to, my scissors are sticking to the hoop, but I like to turn the garment or either move my body so that I can get the best possible cut. While we are here cutting, if you guys are interested in joining my private community, it is called Embroidery Mastery, and it's just a group that I am so proud of. We meet bi-weekly. We just chat. You know, it's just really good conversations. Everyone is a professional. It's just a real sense of community in the group. Yeah, so hopefully I will see some of you guys at our next live event. Ooh, I almost cut the stitches right there. This honestly looks so good. Okay, Lord Jesus, be on my side. Let me get this open. So I just like to snip a little piece just to make sure I'm not snipping fabric. All right, so we have 29 minutes left in 50 seconds. Like I said, it's a very thick satin stitch, but I mean, in my opinion, you could even leave it like this. This looks so good. All right, let's go back to the machine. Let's do it. I think I'm gonna put a piece of Solvay because let me tell you why. All right, lane 7, the fleece is a little fleecy. Now, if I was using gilded or just hoods, I won't really need the Solvay per se, but with lane 7, I like to use a piece of Solvay. So let me just grab my double-sided sticky tape, and while this is stitching out, I am going to set up a design for another order. I get extra paranoid like when it's a keepsake. All right, let's go. Everything is done. The only thing left would be the sleeve embroidery. So this is how it is looking. Let's go clean this up. All right, the first thing, let's take the Solvay off. I don't even have my tweezers, so I'm gonna try to use this to lift, but I do have quite a bit of jump stitches to trim. So I really do love how the satin stitches look in this design. They are nice, they are thick, they are full and covering all of the applique. So if you guys do want to just gain a little bit more knowledge on digitizing, I do have a digitizing course. It is linked below. It is called Stitch by Stitch, and I teach you how to make these type of satin stitches along with many other digitizing techniques within the Embrilliance software. Let's hurry this up so that we can embroider the sleeve. Would have been easier to cut the jump stitches with the Solvay on. I have like some Solvay flakes or whatever you want to call them left over. So I'm going to spray this and then I'm kind of going to let it dry on the dryer. It dries quickly. All right, so this is the right sleeve. I usually do the arm embroidery on the right side. For the sleeve embroidery, I am using the 4.25 Mighty Hoop with a backing holder. Let me get a piece of solvay. I have some pre-cut solvay that I've had for a very long time. I got it for like left chest logos, but I don't do a lot of left chest logos by choice. I kind of limit the business orders that I take. It's not really my thing. I mean, I hate to say it, so a lot of the times I'll turn down those orders. I like more so, I like my large designs, I like my fill stitches, I like decorative designs. So I stay true to what I like. Doing a lot of business logos, that's not me. I like colorful, I like to have freedom, like free will. Like the customer just sent me her stuff. She didn't really give me instructions. She gave me the date, so, you know. This is hooped. I'm just trying to get the backing holder out. I wish I had a bunch of machines and like each machine was solely dedicated to something. Oh, I love that so much. I mean, you will have to have a lot of production to do that. I don't make as many shirts as I used to when I first got started. I have went more into digital files, making designs, teaching people how to embroider, more so than the actual process of making merchandise for others. But I still make and produce merchandise for my brand, and I will have a video coming up on that. I'm gonna be releasing some new designs. With my Locked brand, Shoulda Locked Sooner, I only release designs like 4 times a year. So I'll do a winter, fall, spring, and summer drop. And that's just where I have new items. You know, I'm just not in make mode, make. I'm more into share, teach now. And then plus the physical labor of it, I really can't tolerate it that much anymore from an old car accident, from an injury. So I think that for the angel wings, I'm going to do the wings white and the crown gold. The gold will add a little bit of color to this. Let me make one adjustment in my software and then we can stitch this out. Okay, I had to fix the density on this because this is a purchase design, and I've noticed with a lot of purchase designs, the satin stitches are not thick enough for me. All right, let's trace. Just pulled this off the press. Ooh, I still need to clip a little more jump stitches in the numbers, but you guys get the gist of it. Absolutely stunning keepsake. This is what we would consider a honor keepsake or a, what is it called? A memorial keepsake. I will be sending these ties back with the customer, and let me show you guys the sleeve embroidery. Pretty simple. This is for a male. His dad passed, so I didn't want to do a lot, but this is the sleeve embroidery. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am extremely excited to be able to do a few Sunday videos. So like I said earlier, we will see how this goes, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.